Alright, so this is shooting my Road Warrior shooting Quasar deck, or my Road Warrior Quasar deck. Not too different from the Synchron Quasar deck, except we're not using quick draw. We're using the actual Road Synchron tuner in order to make Road Warrior, along with Double Warrior, so you can create two 1-star tokens. So I explain how to make Quasar, then I get into the rest, right? So first off, you'll need Road Synchron, of course, right? Double Warrior, those are two key components. The third component can consist of Synchron Explorer or Cobalt Hedgehog, depending on the situation. Let's go with the Synchron Explorer scenario. With Synchron Explorer, you need Road Synchron in the graveyard. Two ways to get them to, well, three, technically 4 ways to get them to graveyard is 1, Foolish Barrel. That's one quick way to get them to graveyard. Mathematician's another quick way to get them to the graveyard. Right? Monster Reincarnation is another way of getting them to the graveyard. But you need something in the grave already in order to use that, right? You might even get lucky, you play Tuning to add a Road Synchron from the deck to your hand, and end up milling the other one by Tuning's ability, right? So that's another possible way of getting him to graveyard. So that right there's 4 ways you could potentially get him to the graveyard. The 5th way is just summon him and let him die, which is auto battle, right? Or by card effect. So as long as he's in the graveyard, you're good to go with Synchron Explorer and Doppel, because you want Doppel in your hand. That way you can normal summon Synchron Explorer, special summon, roll Synchron from the graveyard, and right there with all 4 with those 3 monsters, you can synchro for 8, which is Road Warrior himself. Then you can use Road Warrior's, you use Doppel's effect to make 2 tokens. So you have an 8-star monster and 2 1-star tokens. Then you use Road Synchron's ability to bring Jet Synchron from the deck onto the field. Synchro with one of the tokens to make formula. Draw a card. Then use that card or any other card in your hand, send it to the graveyard to bring back Jet Synchron from the graveyard onto the field with his own effect. Use the second token to make TG Reciprocal Dragonfly. I'm used to calling it Reciprocal because that's what it used to be called, but TG Dragonfly essentially. Make TG Dragonfly. He's a generic 2-star synchro. Formula is a 2-star synchro tuner. Right there, that's 4 stars. Plus the 8-star Road Warrior. 8 and 4 is 12. And that's how you make Quasar with 3 synchros. Alright, so that is the way you make Quasar using them. A way you can make Quasar using the Cobalt Hedgehog is if you have already Road Synchron in your hand and Double Warrior in your hand and a Foolish Burial, because you need to still be able to normal summon. Use Foolish Burial to send Cobalt to the graveyard, then normal summon Synchron, Road Synchron, bring back Cobalt by its own effect. Because you brought it back from the graveyard, Double Warrior's effect kicks in and you can special summon it. Now you have Road, Doppel, and Cobalt on the field that you can synchro. Make Road Warrior, get the 2 tokens from Doppel Warrior, Road Warrior's ability to get Jet Synchron token, and Jet Synchron makes formula, draw a card, you can discard that card to bring back Jet Synchron, use the second token to make Reciprocal, and then now you have Reciprocal, Dragonfly, formula, and Road Warrior. Those 3 monsters will make Quasar. So that is the couple ways you can make Quasar, because the main point is you want to get Road Warrior, obviously, Road Synchron, obviously, because he's the main tuner that makes Road Warrior, and Doppel because he'll make the 2 tokens. You're going to need them in order to make formula and Dragonfly. And of course, Jet Synchron, he could be in the grave already, or you can bring him out with Road Warrior's ability, so that just saves you the trouble. A 3 spell card combo to first turn Quasar, right? In case you want to make Quasar first turn, is Using tuningware, that'll get you road synchron. Using reinforcement of the army, that gets you Doppel warrior to your hand. Using foolish burial to send Cobalt to the graveyard. There you go. Now you normal summon road synchron, get Cobalt back from the graveyard by his own effect, special Doppel, and then continue the combo, the Cobalt combo, right, and go into Quasar. So I pretty much explained what they can do. You know, Doppel makes tokens and special when you special from the graveyard. Jet Synchron can be special from the graveyard by discarding a card, but once you do that effect, once it leaves the field, it banishes itself. Plus, if you use it for single summon, you can add a junk monster from your deck to your hand, like Junk Synchron, you know, stuff like that. Junk forward, so on and so on, but there's no junk monster in the main deck, so you're not going to use that part of the effect, obviously. Synchron Explorer lets you, when he's normal summon, lets you bring back a synchron monster from the graveyard onto the field. You can use him to bring back a copy of him and exceed into a Gachi, but that's if you're trying to stall to, you know, until you draw into your combo. But typically you might not need to do that, but if you do, that is an option. You know, you can use Doppel Warrior and Cobalt and make Gachi that way as well. You can use Synchron Explorer, bring back Road Synchron. Since Synchron Explorer will negate Road Synchron's effect of becoming a 2-star monster, when you use it for synchro summoning other than Road Warrior, you can go into YUGIOH Guardian, which is a 6-star. So that's pretty good to know, right? Then you have the potential to make a Catastor or an Armades by, you know, let's say you have both Cobalt and Jet Synchron in the graveyard. You use Synchron Explorer, bring back Jet. Since you have a tuner, you can bring back Cobalt with his own effect. 2, 2, and 1 makes 5, and that's how you can go into Ally of Justice Catastor. You could, if you want, use Jet Warrior. It's all about player preference, whatever you prefer. You can use him instead. I have Catastor and Armades because my preference, Armades, you know, is useful against trap heavy decks, as long as they're not the kind of traps that they're for battle traps heavy decks, not warnings and bombers and shit like that, right? It's for when you attack, you don't have to worry about Mirror Force, Deep Prison, things of that nature. I like just a Catastrophe is good for any deck that is not dark, so you can pretty much destroy pretty much anything that can be destroyed by a card effect. So that's why I have it. He deals with monsters, he deals with back row. So that's why. Player preference, right? To each their own. Moving along, Cobalt, of course, if you have a tuner on your side field, you can special summon it from the graveyard. Once you do, and it leaves the field, it gets banished instead. I already mentioned Road Synchron has the ability of being a 2-star if you use it for single summoning of something that is not Road Synchron. But if you use Synchron Explorer, that part will be negated, so then he'll still be a 4-star tuner. He has the ability where after he battles, this card attacks, at the end of the damage step, you can increase his level by 1. So you can make him a 5-star, a 6-star, 7-star, you know, every single turn. You can keep increasing his levels. Not necessary, make sure you keep him at 4. Tuning, of course, lets you search out either Jet Synchron, which won't be necessary to do so. You typically use it for Road Synchron. I wish you can get Synchron Explorer with it, but that's not how they designed this card. Monster Reincarnation, you know, helps you get what you need in the graveyard. It can help you get, you know, Jet Synchron in the grave, Cobalt in the grave if you need him in the grave, Road Synchron, you know, whatever in the grave. But it also is useful for, you know, getting back Synchron Explorer, so that way you can use him to synchro all over again, you know, do some interesting plays. Also useful for reusing your extra deck in case you already used up your Black Rose Dragon, you can put him back in extra deck. in case you want to put formula back and use it, or roll warrior or a Quasar, put them back in the extra deck, so you can resummon them, whatever. So it's useful for that, maximizing your that optimizes your extra deck, so that's always good. Galaxy Cyclone, you can put whatever you want in the deck. I like stuff to help me get rid of back row, so I can make my plays, of course. Galaxy Cyclone is good for that. We get rid of traps. Has the ability that, except for the turn of sent to graveyard, you can bash it and target one face-up spell or trap and destroy it. So that's pretty useful. Twin Cyclone instead of MST, because if I activate this, discard a card, I can destroy 2 spells and traps instead of just 1. So it's very useful against trap-heavy decks. Red Screen, defensive, stall for the win, right? During the end of your turn, you pay 1,000. That's not optional. But if you have Red Dragon Archfiend on your side, you can send it to a graveyard to bring back a 1-star tuner. There is no Red Dragon in this deck, so you won't be able to use that effect. But you can always destroy it if need be with Galaxy Cyclone's ability or Twister. Red Screen. Not Red Screen, Royal Decree. Against trap heavy decks, just general shut down their traps and then just make your plays without worrying about them having a response. Because this is an OTK deck, so you want to guarantee your OTK. Enough said, right? If this is on the field along with Red Screen, you'll still be losing 1,000 during the end of your turn, so keep that in mind. Upstart Goblin. It's just there as a filler. It helps you thin out the deck essentially, so essentially the deck becomes a 37 card deck as the theory goes, but you can put anything else you want. I just have this just for speed purpose, just because I really didn't need anything extra, so I put it in there as a filler. You could put other stuff, because I did have Wing Blast, but sometimes Royal Decree gets in the way. Also had what is it called, Solemn Notice, but again, Royal Decree gets in the way sometimes. So to avoid that, I was like, I'll just put Upstart, help speed up the process of drawing into something, especially drawing into my Galaxy Cyclone or Twin Twister in case I want to get rid of the Royal Decree, so that way Red Screen is active or whatnot, or just draw into the combo pieces or draw into Red Screen or whatever I need. So I just threw them in there just for that. But you can put whatever you see that you need, whatever you deem fit. Exodios would be a good option because it lets you recycle everything, so you can synchro crazy all over again. Reinforcement, of course, helps you get Doppel. Foolish helps you get Cobalt or Synchron to Graveyard or Jet, whatever you feel that you need. Mathematician will let you send any of these because they're all level 4 and lower, so you can send any of them to the graveyard, whatever you need. But typically it'll be Roll Synchron and Cobalt. A good play to make with Mathematician is use Mathematician to send Roll Synchron to the graveyard. And then Soul Charge him back onto the field. And then you can go into a Catastrophe play. So that's a decent defensive play. Not the best in the world, but it's decent nonetheless. Let's say you have Mathematician and Foolish. You can use Mathematician to send Road Synchron to the graveyard. Use Foolish to send Jet Synchron. You could set Cobalt if you want, and and make a play that way. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, you could probably do a Trish if there was a Trish in here. But of course, like I said, you can use Foolish to send Jet, for example. You use Mathematician to send Roll Synchron. Then use Soul Charge to bring both those Jet and Roll Synchron back. Roll Synchron will be a 2-star used with Mathematicians to make 5, so you can make Catastrophe, for example. And since you have a 5, and now you have the ability to synchro. You have the 1-star and the 5. You can make 6 and go into a Warrior Guardian. You also have the ability to discard a card, because you're going up the chain. You're making a 5, then you're making a 6, and then you can discard a card from your hand, to bring Jet Synchron back with his own effect, and then go into a Black Rose, and that's how you can, make a, go into a little Black Rose play in case you need it. Foolish Mathematician, Soul Charge can help you go from 5 to 6, all the way up to 7, and Black Rose the field, which is very useful, especially if you have rolled the Kree already on the field. It's like, oh, good. That will help prevent any warnings or boundless or anything of that nature, and then just go 5, 6, 7, and clear the board. Soul Charge, anything is possible. Soul Charge, that's the thing. Such a beautiful card. Anything is possible with it. It is powerful. It's here. Let's make great use of it. Because even after you do Road Synchron Formula and Dragonfly to make 1 Quasar, you can always Soul Charge those 3 monsters back and make another Quasar. So that's why I have 2 Quasar instead of 1 Quasar and Shooting Star Dragon. Because the likelihood, like mathematically, the likelihood of Shooting Quasar being defeated is slimmer than it not being defeated. Like, it's more likely not to be defeated by battle or card effect. So because of that, there's no need to have the backup plan where if it is defeated, bang, Shooting Star Dragon comes out and takes its place. Instead of that, you can just go make another Quasar. Plus, if Quasar does get defeated, also, it gets defeated. Soul Charge, bring the materials back, and go back and make another Quasar. Boom. So the fact that you have a second Quasar allows you to be able to Soul Charge into a second Quasar and make a comeback, right? Granted, you do have Monster Incarnation as a benefit to help you recycle your Shooting Star Dragon. So if your Quasar, so if you want to put in Shooting Star and take out a Quasar, that's up to you. If you want to take out Archimedes or Catastor, to make space for it, is all up to you. But the possibility of me making a Quasar and then make Soul Charge into a second one and having 2 Quasar on the field at the same time is just so delicious that I don't care about the shooting. Shooting is a backup. It's not a necessity. So 2 Quasars. That's the way I want to roll. Gachi, stall. That's all it is. If it would be destroyed by battle or card fire, you can detach a material instead. You get 2. All your monsters get 200 extra attack and defense for each material attached to him. Since he'll have 2 at the beginning, it's 400 attack and defense for each of your monsters, including himself. So it'll be a 2200 defender. Slacker Magician, once per turn, can't be destroyed by a battle. Though neither player's turn when a card effect or effect is activated that targets his face-up card, you can detach 1 XYZ material from this card and negate the activation if you do destroy that card. Good stall. And it's a 1-star, so you can use 2 Jet Synchrons to make this. Catastor, I mentioned what you can do with that. Archimedes, what you can do with that. It's useful against battle traps, the battle fader, Swift Circle, things of that nature. Stuff that your opponent has to activate because it's useful against monster effects. It's useful against traps. But typically I use this against traps. But if I'm going up against Griddles or Yang Zings, this is definitely a card you want to have to make those cards useless. Ice Hand, Fire Hand, so on and so on. Many reasons to run it. Since you can make 5 in this deck, I do recommend using it. Guardian, one of the best 6 stars. One of the best 6-star synchros. Next to Bionic Dragon. Those are 2 of my favorites. 6-star synchros because they're really good at what they do. Black Rose, of course, board wipe. Stardust Warrior. You could take him out and put in a Shooting Star Dragon. It's all up to you. But sometimes you might be in a position where you need to make something. And since there's no Stardust in this deck, making Shooting Star with Formula is not going to happen. But you can make Stardust Warrior with Road Synchron and a Formula. So I have this as a backup boss monster, and it has a pretty decent effect. The fact that you can negate inherent summons, even including pendulum summoning. So obviously that's a very useful effect. So that's something you definitely will want to have. And similar to Quasar in the fact that if it is removed from the field, you can special summon a level 8 or lower warrior synchro monster from your extra deck, and it is treated like it was officially summoned. Your main target is Road Warrior. He will be the one you will summon. You can bring out Goyer Guardian. That is also another option, but typically you want to bring out Road Warrior because you can use, Road Warrior effect to bring out something like Doppel Warrior, and then bring back, just Synchro from the graveyard, and if you have something you can normal summon, like another Doppel Warrior or Cobalt or something, and then you can go into a Catastrophe. It's just pretty useful, the fact that you can just every turn bring out a level 2 or lower warrior or machine type. As you can see, there's one machine there, there's another machine, he's a warrior, he's a machine, so you can bring any of those out with Road Warrior's ability. You can even go, you can Gachi, bring out 2 level 2s, Gachi, increase Road Warrior's attack to 3400. So that's something you can do. Road Warrior, of course, once per turn you can special summon a level 2 or lower warrior or machine type monster from your deck onto the field. Formula: when it's synchro summon, you can draw a card. During your opponent's main phase, you can synchro summon using this card as material, as well as another monster. Reciprocal, it's effectively doesn't matter. It's just a 2-star generic synchro that you'll use to make Quasar, and then 2 mighty Quasars. And that's the end of the deck profile.